Okay, welcome. Today we are going to start the unit 4, which is productivity and operations. And today we'll cover productivity and productivity, how it is, how standard of living is related to productivity, happiness, and industry standard of living. Then we'll see what are productivity operations, and then what is project management. Uh, and what is the difference between these two, that is productivity operations and productivity management. So first of all, let us see what is productivity. Productivity है क्या, पहले उसको समझते हैं. So productivity is actually the need of today's world. It was not only requirement of today's world, it was required years uh, later also. It will be required, and it was required in the past also. But as the age increases, the term productivity is on everyone's tongue. So what is exactly productivity? What you need to do? We need to reduce the cost of the production, and to successfully face the competition in the industry also. So this is the part of today's world. So productivity consciousness is very much required nowadays. Earlier it was only productivity, now it is productivity consciousness. One has to be really productive, productivity conscious. It stimulates the country for the getting the better utilization of whatever resources are available. And resources means men, machine, material, capital, power, and many other things required as a resources. And the result which increases, which gives you the increased productivity in terms of standard of living of people also, because more the company will earn, more the company will be able to distribute that amount towards the employees, towards the shareholders, towards the promoters, towards the board of directors, towards each and everyone. So this way productivity term uh, will help each and everyone in this respect. It is not only contributing towards the development or growth of the company, it is towards the growth of all the person whosoever is associated with that firm. So it is it is that everyone employed in gainful employment that contributes towards the increased productivity, which enhances the standard of living of a person, or definitely build a powerful nation also. As per Lal Bahadur Shastri, the productivity means the efficient use of all resources, as we discussed, and to produce many goods and services as possible of the quality and the type which is exactly required by the customer at minimum price or minimum cost involved in the same. So this way we can reduce the waste on the uh, wastages, and optimize the usage of all the instruments and tools required for the production. So that's why this productivity is only because India used to declare at the in February when budget comes up. So 5 year plan we see. So it is nothing but the target of productivity for next 5 years for a democratic country to get success inside the entire community and towards the world. One nation has to have this kind of endeavor to get this kind of productivity and the output associated to it. Output associated to it is very flourishing. So the productivity is thus the power to produce and is related to the better living standards, the growth of the business, and the achievement of happiness of the human being. Symbolically, it is the ratio of output by input. सादे शब्दों में output by input या return by input, अगर money के terms बात करें, या मनी के टर्म्स में अगेन बात करें तो ग्रॉस इनकम बटे ग्रॉस एक्सपेंडिचर, या अगेन मनी के टर्म्स में बात करें तो जो परफॉर्मेंस हमने अचीव किया है बटे जो रिसोर्सेस हमने उस परफॉर्मेंस के लिए कंज्यूम किए हैं, यूज किए हैं। या दो 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 शब्द और आते हैं, एक इफेक्टिवनेस और एक एफिशिएंसी, या हम ये कहें कि इफेक्टिवनेस बटे एफिशिएंसी, ये भी एक रेशो है। Because these are the two terms which are really required in nowadays, that is effectiveness and efficiency. It is the productivity ratio actually which needs to have some clarification over the same. Actually, effectiveness in relation to productivity refers to the actual completion या accomplishment of the desired targets या set targets जिसको मैं बोलूँ. On the other hand, efficiency जो है that lays emphasis on how resources, including manpower, are being used for the accomplishment of the taken target. Both we are calculating against the set targets or whatever targets we have taken. Okay. Now let us understand what is. Now let us understand Now let us understand what is standard of living, how it is associated with productivity. Let us see. Now the this labor productivity is measure of the goods and services, and that the average worker has to produce on hour basis. The calculation of calculation of the productivity of a labor is calculated on the hourly basis, and the level of the productivity comes the single most, how it is like the level of productivity comes up in every direction, that is the standard of living, the fast productivity, the growth which leads to the better standard of living. Now one can measure the living standards by many ways. There can be certain indicators where one can say that standard how the standard of living of a person is. So these are all the things which one has to see. सो नाउ नेशनल लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड हमने देखा होगा एक आदमी मतलब पूरे इंडिया का या पूरे नेशन का कैसे निकलता है. So national living standards actually is the average annual growth in the inflation adjusted income for the typical family. So ideally, in a particular economy, one has to see the worker has to share the fruits of their labor towards the annual income growth, and that has to be tracked actually on the productivity ground or productivity growth, what you call. Okay, so this was the discussion about the productivity growth and standard of living and happiness. Also, happiness index has to be measured separately, but that is also again a part of living standard. And if living standard is up, then happiness will automatically come up. Now let us see what is operations management and project management, and what is the difference between the two. I'll completing my lecture in a short way because 10 o'clock we have Atmanthan and Chairman sir will take up the same. So this much I have covered today, and if possible, then in next half I'll cover up the rest of the lecture definitely. And let us now go through the productivity operations management and project management. Now, what is operations management and product management, and how they are interrelated to each other? Operations management is basically it is responsible for overlooking, मतलब overlook नहीं बोलना चाहिए, is overall overall check करना, ओवरऑल परफॉर्मेंस, ओवरऑल जो प्रोजेक्ट का वो चेक करने जैसा रहता है. ओवरऑल डायरेक्टिंग कंट्रोलिंग, माने ऊपर का जो काम रहता है डायरेक्टिंग का, कंट्रोलिंग का जो बिजनेस ऑपरेशंस का है, वो वाला काम ऑपरेशंस मैनेजमेंट का होता है. एंड प्रोडक्शन ऑपरेशंस जो हैं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के हैं, अकाउंट्स के हैं, सिस्टम सपोर्ट के हैं, मेंटेनेंस के हैं, और इंडस्ट्रियल इंजीनियरिंग के हैं. ये सारी जो चीजें हैं दैट इज दिस जो ईगल व्यू है, ईगल कंट्रोल है वो ऑपरेशंस मैनेजमेंट का होता है, वो ऊपर ऊपर से देखते रहते हैं. Whenever it is required, they'll dip it down, pick the problem and flew away above the clouds. So this way operation management works. It makes sure that business operations really works very nicely and resourcefulness की कमी ना हो, कस्टमर के एक्सपेक्टेशंस को हम रिक्वायरमेंट्स को मेट कर पाएं और जो डिजायर्ड क्वालिटी है या सर्विसेज है उनको डिलीवर कर पाएं. एंड व्हाट अबाउट द प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट, ये वो टीम है जो एक्चुअल करती है, जो एक्चुअली करती है, जो प्रोजेक्ट को मैनेज करती है. दिस इज द टीम which is which has been taken up to produce the, taken up a project to produce a unique product or services or any kind of result which company has taken a target for. And it is really defined, it can be defined as like the from start to end point of the project against the specific goal or objective जो भी उन्होंने लिए हुए हैं. So the projects are temporary in the sense ये किसी एक महीने का प्रोजेक्ट होता है, किसी का 3 महीने का होता है, किसी का 2 साल का होता है. So that's why the projects are termed as temporary. And it is this team is or management is only meant for उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट के जो गोल्स हैं, जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रेटेजी बनाई हुई है, वो अचीव करना बाय द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ नॉलेज, स्किल सेट, टूल्स, technique set, whatever it is required to perform the project activities so as to meet the project requirements. Okay, now what is the difference between the operations management and project management? तो प्रोजेक्ट लाइफ साइकिल में जो होता है वो डेवलपमेंट फेज से होता है. नया प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट करना है, एक्सपैंड करना, आउटपुट को अपग्रेड करना है प्रोडक्ट को. देन प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट फेज प्रोसेस है पूरी, इंप्रूव करने ऑपरेशंस को टिल द एंड ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट लाइफ साइकिल एज इट क्लोज्ड आउट विद द फेज. बजट है, शेड्यूल है, स्टाफ मैनेजमेंट है, स्किल डेवलपमेंट है, ये सारी चीजें उसमें इंक्लूड होती हैं. ओके, और ये सारी चीजें इंक्लूड होती हैं. और अपन ये कह सकते हैं कि एक प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर और ऑपरेशन मैनेजर्स उनके एरिया ऑफ ड्यूटी ऑलमोस्ट सेम होते हैं, लेकिन अगर उनको उनके रोल्स अलग अलग होते हैं. ऑपरेशन मैनेजर वर्क करता है एक वाइडर कॉन्टेक्स्ट में एंड टेक्स द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट एंड रिलेटेड फील्ड्स which is away from the project manager, है ना, and it is solely focused on the current project. So however both roles are said to be complementing to each other, but project manager cannot achieve success in the project without input of operations manager. So operation manager के अंडर में project manager आएगा, लेकिन दोनों सिक्के के दोनों दो पहलू हैं. As the latter it is responsible for allocation of resources, and sometimes operations manager relies on project manager for the quality of particular projects also. So uh, this was the lecture for till point also, till the point, and after Manthan I'll again gear up for the next lecture. Okay, thank you, thanks for attending the same. If you have any doubt you can ask me in the next lecture also. Thank you.